Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy, formerly known as Bizzy Living Sober. And guess who's here?
It's me.
I promised.
And here I am.
We tried to record while we were in Europe, and what happened?
Oh, we tried a couple of times. It just wasn't going to happen for us. Sorry about that. We actually got one recording almost completely done before it crapped out. So, oh well.
And it was kind of funny because he had to sit on his suitcase because the hotel rooms, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Rome, the hotel room was like small, very, very, very small.
A little larger than the bed.
Maybe a little larger. And of course, I had a lot of luggage.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a little crazy.
It was very tight in there.
It was very tight.
But luckily, the air conditioning didn't work that well.
Oh, yeah. And the air conditioning. We were on the 6th floor and we were facing... We must have been facing east, right?
Yes, because the rising sun would come in and bake the room.
Oh my gosh.
The problems that we have, can you imagine?
Can you imagine? But guess what? Last year, we didn't stay in a hotel.
No, not the entire trip.
No, we had Airbnbs. And we had Airbnbs when we were not in Madrid, not in Barcelona.
Assisi,
mm-hmm. Cuomo.
And that was it.
So it was fun. Did we have a great time?
We had a great time.
And then...
What happened?
Then we got back and you had to go pack up your golf bag and go on a golf adventure.
That's true. I told people I finally made it back to my office today and they're like, where'd you go? I was like, I went to Spain and I went to Italy and I went to Mississippi. And they were like, what? I was like, I know.
But there is something about being together for almost 3 weeks, just the two of us. I mean, we did see friends in Rome, which was amazing. But having that little break, how was that for you?
The break of going on the golf trip?
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I really felt, especially on Thursday when I was leaving, I was like, if I had thought this out a little bit better, I wouldn't be going because I was just really tired. And but I said I would go, so I went. And then, of course, once I got there and I met my friend, he told me the same thing. If I had thought this out a little bit better, I wouldn't be here. But here we are. And but guess what? We had a great time, so we were both glad that we went. It was a lot of fun, and it made coming home on Monday so much sweeter. It really did.
Even though we both were sick, weren't we?
Well, yeah, I had a little bit of a cold. So I actually, one of the guys that we golf with is a doctor. So as he was driving from Chattanooga, we called him and said, will you please call a Z-Pack in for me? And we found a drugstore in Oxford, Mississippi. And
we're all misses.
They have the same Z-Pack that we have here. It's amazing. Just amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. So that really, and that fixed me right up.
But if you guys heard, one of my listeners said to me, oh my gosh, I can hear you're sick. I could hear it in your voice. And yes, I got sick too. And I'm on a Z-Pack too.
And how do you feel now?
I am feeling better today than I felt yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But literally, I think sitting on a plane for 11 and a half hours, and not to go wah, because let's face it, we were able to go to Europe. But, planes are not very clean.
No, they're not. They're kind of like big like tubes in the sky full of people. And the plane that we flew was the strangest thing because we flew daytime, but they made everybody have all the shades down. So I felt like we flew home in somebody's basement.
And you worked, or at least you tried to work. It was very difficult.
I did. I actually did work. I was successful. And yes, I put in a full day's work on that airplane.
Thanks, American Airlines.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, American Airlines. So to think back about our trip,
mm-hmm.
I'm going to say one of my favorite things. So having a cold and all the rest of it, I bought old handkerchiefs, linen handkerchiefs. Here you guys are seeing one, and it's got a little M-A embroidered on it. And I found it in this wonderful store in Barcelona, and I love it.
What was the name of that store?
What was it called?
I don't remember. I thought you would know.
Oh crap! I don't have it next to me, you guys, because I didn't bring my phone.
Mm,
But I tag them all the time when I'm wearing their dresses. I bought a bunch of white dresses, surprise, surprise, from them.
yes.
But what stood out to each of us from the trip? Well, that was one of the things was finding that store. For me, I'm gonna talk first.
Sure.
Of course I am. Are you guys surprised? Probably not. So, when we were staying in Madrid was hard, I have to say. And you guys heard my podcast because we definitely had jet lag and we were a little and nobody had made like you went and made some plans, but then you didn't like make the dinner plan. It was like we're gonna go to a show, but then when are we going to dinner? That was like he totally like, and that would ended up not being a good evening. Would you say?
All's well that ends well.
Oh, we almost killed each other on the streets. If people
But nobody
saw us,
died, so it was a good evening after all.
it was a good evening because we are here to tell the story. But definitely, if you are going somewhere and you know you're going to get there, and for one, we flew in the night. We left here at what time was our flight here? 3?
Was it 3 or 7? Or no, it was 3. Yeah,
It was
because we got
3.
there early.
Yeah, we got there at like 5 a.m. And you can't check into your room until like 12 or 1 or 2. And we got there, and of course, there was no room ready. So we had to like get unchanged and brush our teeth in the bathroom. We were so tired. And literally, I almost fell asleep in the,
In the museum.
what museum was it?
The
Prado.
The Prado Museum, exactly.
The Prado.
Which was really cool because since we were up so early, we actually got there before it opened. And they're like, oh, you can't buy any tickets online, but you can buy tickets here if you wait. So we waited and we got tickets. And when we went in, it was amazing to be in a big, big, big city, #1 main art museum. And there was like hardly anyone in it. It was very cool.
It was really cool, but it was really quiet.
And it was literally, it was really cool inside. And my wife was like kind of laying on a nice cool bench.
I'm like, do you think I can take a nap right now? I'm so tired.
Yes, exactly.
But make reservations. And so Madrid was okay. Barcelona, I loved Barcelona.
Barcelona was a great town. We had a lot of fun there.
Lots of fun. The
We were out
open
late
market.
every night.
Every night. Always. We're always out. And
you know what the big difference between Barcelona is? Like we live in South Florida. So in South Florida, they have every night at all the restaurants, they have like, specials. That's basically like like an old person blue light special. You can come in at 5:00 and eat for really cheap. And in Barcelona, you can't even get a reservation anywhere until 7:30 because they don't open until 7:30.
no,
It's a very late night town.
it
It's
is
a lot of fun.
It was really fun. We went to a steakhouse. That was amazing. The steaks were insane. That was insane.
They were one of those steaks had actually dry aged almost as long as I have. That's how good it was.
Meaning 60. Okay, by the way, his golf partner was making fun of me because I said on the podcast, my husband's 63. So shout out if you're listening, Ralph, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Ralphie. But so that was really cool, the dried steakhouse. Then we went and we ate on the harbor, and it was freezing.
Well, we were outdoors on the roof in the blowing wind. Yes, it was nice and cold.
It was nice and cold. Thank God I had a blazer.
Paella.
We had paella. It was so, oh my gosh.
So we got all these spices to make paella because Elizabeth's going to make paella like almost every night.
Yeah, I haven't even tried, and we've been home for a week now. I haven't even tried. And then from Barcelona, we took a plane. It's so cheap to fly there. Like once you get to Europe, it's not like America, like where we charge like $1 billion if you want to fly from, let's say, Florida to Boston or Florida to New York. It's not like $50. You can actually fly for like $50. It's very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because we had so many bags, that was the bad part, because of course I overpacked and we had to pack for a wedding and all this other stuff. So I had a lot of shoes. And he had his tuxedo and we had black tie dresses and da 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 da. So we flew to Milan.
We flew to Milan. We did.
I lost my.
And then she lost her rosary on the plane.
That was
very
a bummer.
sad.
I was
very
really sad.
Thank goodness we were flying to Italy, where you can buy a rosary anywhere pretty much any time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hmm.
Pretty much.
So it ended up just fine.
And Lake Como was rainy and a little chilly there too.
It was very cool the first day and a half that we were there for sure. The last day when we were on the boat, that was a beautiful day.
It was beautiful.
Absolutely gorgeous day.
Wow.
But it was a little cool and it rained a lot the first day and a half we were there as well, like a lot.
There was a big thunderstorm. Remember that?
Yeah, and they said the lake was about 5 feet above normal height, whatever you call it, lake level, I guess. And so you'd be going around and you'd see some signs. They're like I say, with beach, and then there'd be a sign that where the beach was, and the sign would be like 15 feet out in the water and just about buried. So it was so lush there, though. Do you remember how lush it
Oh, it
was?
was beautiful. Beautiful. We definitely will go back there, I hope.
Mm-hmm.
I
Very pretty
loved I
spot.
loved it there. And then we went from there back to Milan.
So we had to take back to Milan so we could take a train to Assisi, which ended up being two trains.
A
A
long train ride.
Yes, it was.
And a wait in Florence airport, Florence train station.
Well, we just waited for 2 hours and 2 minutes.
2 hours and 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And we waited in the smoking section, which my
We
husband
did. I got
hated.
to sit on luggage and drink coffee and eat Italian food.
It was so
watch
good.
people.
Oh my gosh, remember the gelato I got and candy I got? It was so good.
Yeah.
And then we got on this long train ride to Assisi. What was your favorite place? I mean, now I'm like, I asked you the question, then I talked over you. And so now I'm going to go back and I'm going to shut up and tell me what was your favorite part?
The favorite part of the trip? I don't know if I could say I had a favorite part of the trip because the places that we went to were all really different from each other. And there's only one place that we had been to before, so it was all very new, and everything we saw was new and exciting. And we really are very good as a couple of being someplace and saying, well, since we may never be back here again, you never know, we should make the best of it and do and see as much as we possibly can. And we did. And so, there was highlights and lowlights to the entire trip, but we met especially at Lake Como. It seems like every time we sat down to dine, we would be chatting with the people next to us and meeting people left and right. And Elizabeth made a great uh, observation that every restaurant we went in was all Americans for some reason.
It was crazy. It was like every person talking in the restaurant was American. I was like, there's not one besides people working there.
Yep. So we met some Brits one night, chatted with them. So it was fun. It was very social and good. And then, Assisi's we were in the medieval city, and it's about a 20-minute walk from the widest part across, which is basically from the Basilica San Rufino to the Basilica San Francesco, and through the whole town. It's just a gorgeous place to walk around. Spectacular city. We had wonderful, wonderful accommodations in Barcelona, in Lake Como, in Assisi was wonderful, and it was more than adequate in Madrid and Rome, which were the two big cities that we went to. So I can't really say I can't pick a spot. I can only pick it, events.
And so was it hard? How was the time apart? And does it help us? I wrote out these questions, you guys, before. And so the question is how the time apart helps our relationship reset and for us to breathe.
Well, are you talking about when I went on the golf thing?
Yeah. Well, because that was yeah.
Well, have you ever heard of Dan Hicks and his Hot Licks?
No.
Well, they wrote a famous song called How Can I Miss You If You Won't Go Away? Dan Hicks and his Hot Licks shouting out to Dan. So that kind of tells the whole story. We had a great trip. We were together for almost 3 weeks, and it was wonderful. And and we were away for a couple of days, and I really missed my wife and my house and my dogs and my life and everything else. But Dan's right. How can I miss you if you won't go away?
So there you go. So now he's home, so he doesn't have to miss me anymore. The next question I have is, and I think this is so relevant. So towards the end of the trip, were you looking forward to going home?
Yes,
Did you
I
miss
was.
home as much as we had that freedom to go to all these different places and see these different things and walk 20,000 steps at least a day?
I did miss home, and I like honestly, um, if we were in a little more commodious room, it wouldn't have been so bad.
Commodious.
The room
What does the
was
word
it
commodious
was
mean?
just so small. It was so small, so you could never get back to your room and get comfortable. And that was the nice thing about when we stayed in Airbnbs. There was lots of room, lots of space. You know, we weren't like there wasn't even a place to sit down. Like you said, I tried to do a podcast sitting on a suitcase because that's all there was. So I think that made a big difference. But
Excuse me.
it was a long time there, and we had already been through Rome. We saw the one thing that I wanted to see that we didn't get to see the last time we were there, which
Which
was
was
the Pantheon,
amazing.
which is really cool, really amazing, and but it was great to get back. I was excited, and I was like, "Gosh, I wish this plane could like fly at like the speed of light."
And it was fun. I wanted to give a shout out to our friends Martha and Rick because we hadn't seen them in like 2 years.
We had a blast.
We had so much fun with them. They are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We just laughed. And it's just so good when you see like old friends that you haven't seen in a while and you just connect like no time has gone past. It was like we just got back to like it was last week.
And we have so much fun because I think about it. So I was telling my friends, uh, like, oh, we were in Rome and there's this restaurant Alfredo's where they actually invented uh, the Alfredo sauce and fettuccine Alfredo, and we're like, we have to go back there. It was so good, and they're like, really? I mean, there's so many like Michelin starred restaurants. But like, who cares? We had the best time. The
Our
food
friends
was
weren't like that. They weren't
no,
talking.
they
No, no.
loved it.
They loved
I'm
it.
talking
Oh
about my
my.
friends when I was talking to them over in on my trip to Mississippi, and I said, but my one friend Ralph, he was like, "That sounds like my kind of restaurant." I was like, "They make the fettuccine alfredo right next to you," and it was so much fun.
It
You
was
know, it's like
so
kind of
fun.
touristy, but not really. And then we had dinner that one night on was it the what do they call it, the Plaza Novano? I don't think I'm saying it right,
No,
but it
no.
was it was, and that was kind of touristy, and it was so much fun. We had a great
We
time.
just had so much fun. It was so great. And we took pictures and we walked and walked and walked. So it was a fabulous, fabulous trip.
Hmm.
And I'm so glad we're home.
Me too. So let me ask you,
Okay.
what was the what stuck out in the entire trip? What sticks out to you the most as the maybe the either the most entertaining or most significant thing that happened to you while you were there?
Well, for one, we went to a wedding. I mean, we went to this wedding. Our friends Lorenzo and Dasha got married. And that was, I mean, they're beautiful on the outside, both of them. And then on the inside, they have the biggest hearts and they're just so kind and so loving. And to watch them get married with all of their dearest friends and family all around them and meeting Dasha's family and all of that was so memorable. And I will never forget it. And being there with our friends. And I mean, there was five different, I think, music acts that went on. It was just incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
just to see our friends Amanda and Francesco and Skip and Katie just and their kids, it was just amazing. And again, Martha and Rick were with us. It was just really, really, really fun. It was that was amazing as an end of a trip. The beginning of the trip, I loved being in Barcelona because it's so old. I loved walking home at night and finding opera singers in the street. Like we
Mm-hmm.
don't find that here in America. I mean,
Not a lot, no.
nobody sings opera except for our friends Lisa and oh my god, Donafo.
Ian.
Yes.
Now here's an interesting tidbit for you. So the doctor Trey, who was in my foursome's brother, is an opera singer. He lives in Vienna. He's comes back with his family in the summertime to sing at some music festivals around here. But he's an honest to God opera singer. It's like, what a small world that is.
I love that. So,
Hmm.
you guys, I really got into the opera. I really got into listening to the music. You know, we're sober, so it doesn't like we're just everything just there's just feelings all the time. I mean, it's not like when you're drinking, and when I was drinking in my previous life, it was like life just was going on around me and I was
Mm,
just a person in the play, right?
not really observing it.
Not observing it at all, right? Like I was just doing me, self-centered me. Like, what am I doing? What do I want? What is all of it about? But when you're sober and you're alive and you're awake, it's just amazing. So we would see like frescoes all over the place of Mary and baby Jesus. Like I love that. Like everywhere we walked, I think I'm going to put a compilation book together with the doors. I always take pictures of doors too. I took a lot of pictures of doors in Madrid.
I think you have a great thing going with all those door photos. Yes.
I have a lot of doors and I have a lot of frescoes of Mary and baby Jesus. And
Hmm.
it's just being away and having those feelings like everything's okay. It's just the reminder everywhere you go. I love that.
Good.
So here we are at episode 559, you guys. And it has been, I've been doing this for a long time. And we are starting, and it's we now because Jeff's really involved in this. Season 10 is starting on August 6th.
Isn't that crazy?
Season 10.
Like you're starting to get longevity like The Simpsons.
But I am going to do more coaching because I've started seeing clients again, as you know. Do you
Hmm.
know that?
I do know that, yes. And I do know that you are a wonderful coach. It's just amazing to see the results. Obviously I don't see the sausage being made, because that's between you and the client. But I get to see the finished product sometimes, and it's really amazing. You do such a good job. You have a wonderful heart. You're so patient. You have so much wisdom to pass on to, these mostly women that you work with, and it's incredible. So, I hope anybody who's listening out there, if you need some help, you need to speak to Bizzy. She
Yeah.
is amazing.
Thank you. And I just finished today 5 tips for somebody who's out there who's living with an active alcoholic and you're like, I don't know what to do. I worked on it all day today. So that's why we're dropping this podcast late. Well, you guys are going to get it at 6 a.m. no matter what. But I just wanted to let you know that I'm also had a huge epiphany that I have all these people that write to me every day that want to come on the show. And so you guys sometimes hear people, I mean, Kendall, who's Mom's Tea, who I had on like 3 weeks ago, I reached out to her. I saw her on Instagram and I'm like, will you come on my show? But most people that come on the show have written to me, besides obviously my husband and my friends that I've had on. But the other people who are like hawking a book or they're selling a program or they're selling their dating service or whatever, that's not authentically me.
Hmm.
Having somebody on that I don't even know and just saying, oh, okay, what's your story? And I think there's so many people out there that are telling alcoholic stories for better or for worse. There's so many people doing that. And I think that where I find my happiest jam is sharing about what it's like to be in recovery, what it's like to be an empty nester, what it's like to have kids launching and whatever's going on with them. I love sharing that. Having a second marriage, being both sober in this marriage, having we have 5 kids between us and what that's like. I love sharing the solution and I love sharing where I found God along this path. And that has been to be able to talk about God on here and to be able to share with you all what it's been like. So if you went back and you listened to my podcast, I think from the beginning in the past year and a half, since I went to Medjugorje, since I started listening to Hallow, which Hallow just, by the way, had 1 billion people pray on Hallow, which I was like, wow.
Wow, That's a lot.
I was like Alex Jones, who's not obviously the Alex Jones. It's always on politics, but the other Alex Jones who started Hallow. Kudos to him, because I think that what he started with Hallow, at least for me, and I think for you as well, it's
Hmm.
been a game changer in our lives. And to be able to share that, especially in the times, well, I think there's always been uncertainty. I don't think we're living in anything different than that. I think the media wants to portray it like this is the first time these things have happened, but I don't think any of that's true. Do you agree?
I totally agree. There's not much original that ever happens anywhere.
No.
No.
So I think that it's, rather than going to the dark, I want to share with you guys the light. I want to share my stories, and I want to share the stories of people that I know that have also found the light, because I think there's enough darkness. If you turn on your TV, I can't even believe how many dark movies are on too. Like, they're all horror movies. So what my dream and my vision for season 10 of Conversations with Bizzy / Busy Living Sober is that I am going to bring you guys more light.
Beautiful.
Do you like
I'm
that?
down for that. Yes. Yes. In fact, I'm hoping the next time I'm on, I'd really like to talk about Assisi and what that, spiritually, what that meant to me.
Oh my gosh, you guys, that might be episode 560. Who
Mhm.
knows? So here, I want to get you guys to answer some questions for me. By the way, Crystal, if you're listening, I hope you like the prayer. Crystal reached out and she requested to have the prayer from St. Francis of Assisi, and I shipped it to her, and she should be receiving it the next 2 days. So that's really exciting. So she got that. And when I actually did the rosary last year, and I said I have an extra rosary, I actually have another rosary from Medjugorje that my friend Grace brought for me. So if you are listening and you would like a rosary from Medjugorje, I have one for you. So all you need to do is email me and say, I would love to have that rosary.
And that's the first one in gets it.
The first one in gets it.
Who don't waste any time.
I know Crystal was the first one to say that she wanted the Assisi prayer. So I was like, oh my gosh, of course you can have it. So I shipped it to her today. And so I want to know, I have a couple questions for you guys. Do you want me to keep posting 2 podcasts a week? Or what if I just shift to 1 on Tuesdays?
Well, that would be nice. I'd get to spend more time with you.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Hmm.
Would you like that?
I would like that.
It'd be kind of nice.
Uh-huh. Let
And
us know.
I think that I'm thinking that maybe I'm going to have you on twice a month if he'll
Wow.
say yes. So I want to get your thoughts on that too, because I love it when he's on, because I think we show you guys a married couple that's getting through this thing we call life,
That's right.
and sober and doing it all, and
Ups and downs, lumps and bumps. Here
oh
we
my
are.
gosh, all of it. We go through a lot. And and we didn't even talk. Well, we're not going to go there right now. So you can give me your feedback either by sending me an email at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com, or B, you can DM me wherever you watch me on social media. If that is on X, if that is on TikTok, if that is on Instagram, if that is on Facebook, let me know. And I'm going to do a poll on this as well. So look for that. And then,
Now, when are you going to release the results? Next podcast?
maybe I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
What do you think we should do? Do you think we should do a reel? Because you like recording.
Oh, yeah. I like reels. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna do a reel.
Do
Okay,
okay.
we'll do a reel. We'll do a reel. So keep following me wherever you watch your social media. I'm on all of those platforms. I do want to tell you that I did start a new Instagram, and I changed my name on TikTok to Busy Says Coaching, because again, I want to get into my coaching more, and I feel like if you have those opportunities to see me with that, it might be easier and less confusing, because the Conversations with Busy is the podcast and Busy Says Coaching is my coaching business. So reach out to me if you would like to have some thoughts about the coaching. If you are out there and you're wondering, do I need help? It's kind of nice when you have a sounding board, and it's so interesting. I want to get your thoughts on this, because this is just a coaching thing I just thought of, which is, we sometimes want our husbands to be like the go-to about everything that's going on in our lives. Like even the chatter in, let's say, in the neighborhood, or the chatter that goes on in the gym, or the chatter that goes on in the school, in the PTA meeting, or for me, a 12-step meeting. Like sometimes your husband might not want to hear all of your drama. And I think we get mad. Women get mad that our husbands don't want to listen to our stories because they're just not into the gossip. Is that true?
Well, I think that I mean, there's probably some husbands that love the gossip. I personally am not much of a gossip, and and I've been trying to learn to be better and not just be like a like like fix her and shut her up kind of guy too. You know.
So it's hard. It's finding that balance. And so if you have a coach, I've had coaches and I have been trained to be a coach. So if you're feeling like all you want to do is throw away your marriage because it's the worst. And sometimes we have to pivot. And that's what I want to share with you guys. And sometimes it's worth fighting for.
It's always worth fighting for.
Always.
Everything is. And there's no better fighter for you than my wife. There's no doubt about that. She is amazing.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. It's been fun, and I'm excited to take a little break and not do it twice a week because it's a lot of work. And again, I don't know how many podcasts I'm going to do in the month of July because I'm really regrouping and focusing on what I want season 10 to be looking like. We are going to do reels. I might do 2 podcasts. I'm not promising anything. If you think you're going to miss me, send me a message. If you want to hear from me in July, if you're like, I only want to hear from you once in July or twice in July because I'm going to miss you, please tell me. Reach out to me and let me know.
Cool.
Do you like that?
I'll reach out. Oh, wait, I know where to find you.
Ha, ha, ha.
Ha, ha, ha.
So you guys, it's been, so we are going to be resting and we are going to be rolling out something big in August. And please subscribe to my show. Subscribe wherever you are. That would be amazing. And follow my show if you would too. And last but not least, if you like what you hear, share it with your friends.
Absolutely.
Because that would mean so much. And the reality is, I guess we're going to have my husband on sooner than later because he might forget about a sissy. That's the only thing.
Never forget that.
I can't wait to hear about it. Aren't you guys excited? All right, we're leaving you with that. Thanks for listening, you guys. It's been awesome. Have a great night. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.